Hey guys, what's going on? Wasn't expecting to see me again so soon, I bet, but I wasn't expecting to chat with everybody again so soon. Um, it's it's been a long month, I guess is what I would say, for having only been about 8 days long, and I've had a lot of time to think. I've had a lot of time to see some things. This was not a flippantly made decision by any stretch of the imagination. But I wanted to get it out there now, just so people knew. I didn't want, and I didn't. If you have any further questions when this is all said and done, feel free to find me at Furfest because I'll still be there. Come ask me whatever you want to ask me; it doesn't matter. But after some thought, I decided that I did that video back in I want to say July, where I was talking about how I want people to embrace their passions. I want people to go do what they want to do. That is so huge. In this day and age, we don't encourage people enough to go do what they should do with their lives. Like we tell people, be safe, sit in a box and don't take chances, don't come out of the box. This is different, and that was different. That was, like I said, if your ambition is so good, if your ambition is so great, I should say, that you can follow it to something, you should. But if that ambition is hurting other people or causing problems for other people, then you should not be following it. That means you're doing something wrong. And thankfully, I managed to right the ship, so to speak. But at the end of the day, the furry fandom is a niche fandom, and that's not a bad thing. It means, that if you're here, you really like what you do and you really enjoy the content. And I'm glad for anybody who, I've inspired or I've made happy over the last couple of years. But the long and short of it is, 2019, I had this whole business model drawn up. I took all this time. I did the math. I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do that. And unfortunately, just bridging the gap between my last con at the end of August and this con for MFF at the end of November is just, it's a little too much. Like, my cost of living is too high, and there wasn't enough business coming in without a convention on the side to really keep me financially spurred on. So as far as 2019, I had this plan to go gangbusters. I was going to try and do like 17 sales cons, and it was actually all going to fit into a schedule, and it seemed like a great idea at the time. But instead of that, I will be dialing things back a little bit for 2019. Probably right after Midwest Fur Fest, I will be hopefully landing a full-time job at a company I know of in St. Charles. It's not a writing job, but it pays well, it has benefits, and it's not manual labor, so I'm not going to be doing what I used to do. I know this is kind of the exact opposite of probably what a lot of people were expecting, and it's the last thing I wanted to do. But again, the cost of living is too high. The checks when you're doing freelance work like this, they're too inconsistent. And it's not that you can't make this work. I've become great friends with a lot of really talented writers in the furry fandom over the last 3 years who, frankly, they we're all making it work in our own little way. Like, that's the cool thing, is that there's no wrong level of success. I know I've told people, like, if you're going to do it, go balls to the wall, go all out. But that's not necessarily the way that works for everybody. I've enjoyed it. I've really, really enjoyed what I've done. Again, this was the last thing I wanted to do, and I made it as long as I could without doing it. But my savings, that I tell everybody all the time, if you've been to any of my panels, I tell people, like, save more money than you think you need. I did, and I've still used almost all of it, and that's not a position I feel comfortable being in. That's not a position anyone should ever put themselves in, because you never know when an emergency is going to happen. You never know when an accident's going to happen, when someone's going to get sick. You should not put yourself in that position, and I utterly refuse to. So, at the moment, I've got a little review thing here for you guys. This is not me quitting. It took me a long time to get to that point mentally to say that this is not me quitting, that this is not me giving up, this is not me even putting the business on hiatus, because I'm not. It's just a change in direction for 2019 that I didn't anticipate. It's kind of the opposite of what I anticipated, but it could very well lead to be a good thing. As of the moment, Furfest is the only con I have left for the year. And as part of the hiring process, I should be getting, because I already got accepted and paid for Texas Furry Fiesta. Been wanting to go to that for the last 3 years. You guys finally got me in. And then this came up, and I was like, oh no. But the good news is I should be able to make it to that. So I should still be there. And of course, First Squared made me their guest of honor at the end of last year. And I should be able to get that as well. So I'm not going to break any of my obligations to anybody. I'm still going to be where I said I was going to be for at least part of the time. But going to cons and actually turning a profit at them is kind of difficult when you're printing books. You know, you do everything you can to keep the costs down. And it's just really difficult to do so. You know, I love going and meeting people. I love doing the panels. This is my dream. This is my passion. Traveling, selling books, and getting to meet people and talk to them. It's what I love to do. But you got to be fair with yourself. You know, at some point you have to stop and say, well, how much money is this business really making? How much of a profit am I really turning? You know, and how can I keep the business growing when clearly it's not growing much if I'm having to scale things back to the point of getting a job to make ends meet. You know, I know I have a big backlog behind me right now. I'm working on the books that are going to get done for FurFest because I am going to get them done. We will have the 2 books debuting for Midwest FurFest. Should have 2 books debuting for First Squared as well since we're going there. TFF, we might have something moving. Might not. But here's how things are going to change for 2019. In the simplest of terms, instead of going to a bunch of cons and trying to mitigate the cost of going to those cons, what I'm going to do is First Squared and TFF are guaranteed for next year. Because I'm on staff at IFC, that is also probably a guarantee because I know they would like me to be there, and if I go, I'm going to sell. FurFest 2019 would be hopefully a guarantee. And that might be the only 4 sales cons I do next year. The good news is I'm able to keep costs for all those cons fairly low because I live so close to all of them. Well, except for TFF, but that's just a factory cost at this point. But, you know, if things start to turn around at the early half of next year, if I get back on top of things, if my debt's under control, if everything else is good, then I can maybe start going to more cons again. But right now, I just need to focus on reining things in, getting my life back under control. You know, my favorite motivational speaker, Eric Thomas, his big mantra is, you know, and you guys will appreciate this being furries, is he says he's a real lion. You know, if you're a real lion, no one ever knows if something's wrong in your life because you won't talk about it. You never tell them. But you guys are my customers, you're my fans, you're my friends. You deserve transparency. You deserve honesty that I'm able to smile, I'm able to grin and bear it, and I do love what I'm doing. I'm happy doing what I'm doing. But the money's just not quite there right now. And that's not anybody's fault necessarily. You know, as part of all this, I'm going to be getting my cost of living down dramatically. You know, I'm upside down on a loan for a car right now that I'm going to be getting myself out of. I'm probably going to be selling my motorcycle. You know, little things here and there that I can do to make my situation better, regardless of what's going to happen with all this. But the short summary of it is that, again, this is not a hiatus. This is not a goodbye. This is not we're quitting. This is we're taking a different step in 2019, and I think it's going to play out very well for us. The goal right now, short and sweet, is 1, please do not stop sending in stuff for Movember. Charity doesn't deserve to suffer just because business is a little bit slow. So please, if you can, get a commission this month. The end of the year is reserved right now. I will be using pretty much all of December to get things done. So if you have a commission in the backlog right now or you get one, it will be done before the end of the year. I'm setting myself a deadline of December 30th to finish everything, and I do mean everything that's back there, so please don't be scared off by any sort of a backlog. I'm going to power through that as fast as I can, and I really love raising money for charity, so please get those commissions in still. For next year, what I'm thinking is I can manage when I'm doing well and when my head's not up my ass. I can manage about 2,000 words an hour and not be burning myself out. And if I'm working this job and I've got about 2 hours free a night, then I can easily handle about 2,500 words in commissions and then 1,500 words in personal projects. So my thought is, for next year, I would love to do 5 days a week, 2,500 words a day for commission work, which would actually supplement my income pretty substantially for next year without incurring any extra costs of, going to cons or printing books, because those are expensive. And I will still be putting out new ebooks and stuff, and I will still be doing content for Patreon. So please, if you guys want to see me doing stuff next year, if you want to see more cons next year, if you want me to release more books next year, please join my Patreon. I'll put a link in the description. I know I harp on people to do that. I think it's a really good value. Some of the stuff you get huge commission discounts. You get exclusive content, you get voting rights. At some levels, you even get free stories every month. It's definitely worth every penny. So please consider doing those things if you want to see me at more cons next year. The easiest way is to support me on Patreon, buy me a coffee, or buy my ebooks, because these are passive income costs. These are things that I don't have to spend any more of my time and money to earn more money off it. So they're huge. So please consider doing those things if you want to see me going to more cons in 2019. And on my end, I'm just going to keep plowing ahead. I will let you guys know as soon as I know what my schedule is going to look like, what the full-time job is going to be, and what kind of other changes that might bring. But the funny thing is, a lot really shouldn't change on your end or my end. Like you guys won't see me at as many cons next year, but otherwise 2019 probably won't be that different than 2018. I wanted to be honest and transparent with everyone that this is what's happening. And again, I want to keep inspiring people. As a creator, no creator owes anybody anything necessarily, but I do. I owe going as long and as far as I did on my own to you guys. Like all this hard work doesn't mean anything if nobody's buying. So thank you all for supporting my dream as long as you did, and I hope you'll continue to, because we're not quitting, we're not stopping, we're not done here. We're just changing gears for a minute. And again, ultimately, I think it's going to be a good thing. So sorry for being a little long-winded here. Sorry that this one ran a little longer than I intended, but emotions running high and it's hard to keep yourself focused. But I think next year will be a better year than I'm anticipating right now, and hopefully you guys will benefit from it greatly as well. Let's keep charging ahead. Let's keep doing the best that we can. I hope I can keep on making you guys happy and making you smile, and making your day with my content, and really just let's make the best of what hasn't been the best situation. Make the best of a bad situation and go on from there. I just want to thank you all again so much for everything you guys have done for me over the past couple of years. And with your help and support, this definitely won't be the end. This will just be, like I said, we're changing gears. Thank you all so much for sticking with me through this point of the video. I'll have some useful links in the description, and I'll see you guys at FurFest.